Hello, I'm Camille Walrath, the body interpreter, and this is a movement video to help with stability for the lower back. So, if you'd like to start on all fours, and if your knees are a bit sensitive, feel free to put a towel or a yoga mat folded up or something underneath there. And if your wrists don't like weight bearing, you might like to come onto your fists. But we're just starting with a nice long spine, so knees are right underneath your hips, arms are right underneath your shoulders, and then just coming through with your chest like so. So it's sort of like a push-up but with straight elbows. It's just your shoulder blades, letting your chest come through, and then coming out here. So this can be a really difficult movement for some people to coordinate. And that's because these postural muscles in their spine and shoulders aren't well developed. So if you're having trouble with this is a really great thing to practice, and you can do it against a wall or on the floor or even just sitting at a desk. So just gently controlling the descent of your chest and then slowly coming up again. So this is almost like a cat-cow for the upper body, in a way. Cat-cow being the yoga maneuver that people do. Alrighty. And then just starting to try a little bit of tilt with the pelvis. So don't worry so much about the upper body, but just gently moving backwards and forwards here with the hips and just exploring that movement, getting a bit of a feel for what's comfortable for you, how smooth the movement is, what your control's like. Maybe if there are some tender areas or stiffness anywhere. Just doing some gentle rocking. And once you've got the hang of that, then we're going to try what I call revving up. So this is what babies do when they're getting ready to walk, and it helps them to develop all of the stability muscles around their lower back. So it's coming forward and back just like this. So your gaze is down between your hands, but you're trying to make it a fast and a small movement. So it's just gently back and forth, as fast and as small as you can go. And if you watch babies doing this, they are really good at it. No wonder their backs feel so good, right? So if you're finding that you're holding your breath or bracing too much, just ease off a little bit. Shouldn't be a strain. We don't want to force your body to do something it's not ready for, but the ultimate goal is the smaller, faster movements. But if this is all you can manage today, then that's fine. That's a start. And it's an introduction to that movement. So just doing a few more of those, and then just relax and just start to stretch your body side to side. Beautiful. And next is going to be an activation for the lower abdominals. So you're welcome to just rest and stretch your hands a little bit while I explain. So you might have heard of the TA, or the transversus abdominis. And this muscle is the deepest of 4 layers of abdominal muscles. And this one comes around and joins into our lower back just like a corset would. So this one, it sort of comes in from the front here and stabilizes our lower back. Even when we just move our arm, that muscle should be working. If people have had lower back pain for a long time, sometimes that's delayed or absent, that little movement of the lower abdomen. So I'll show you how to activate that. This is the easiest way that I've found anyway. So we want to basically imagine the space between your belly button and your pubic bone, and you're just drawing it in. So imagine you've got a really tight pair of jeans and you can't quite get it done up, so you just pull your belly in a little bit. And it's a similar kind of thing to that, except we're going against gravity. So you'll be on all fours, finding that position that you're in before, letting your belly hang down with gravity and relax, not like this, but you keep your long spine, just let your belly hang down, and then just gently drawing it up, away from the floor. So when I show people this in the clinic room, I actually put my hand underneath their belly and get them to lift it up and away from my hand. And the challenge is just holding it for a few seconds. And sometimes it's easy to activate if you take a big breath in And breathe all the way out. And as you breathe out, that muscle will naturally rise. So that's one good way to practice it. But eventually, you should be able to hold it in while you're breathing normally. So we'll just do a few of those. So just drawing up with the belly, holding for a moment, and then gently letting it down again. Drawing in with the belly, holding, and slowly letting it out. Drawing in with the belly, and slowly letting it out. If you're getting a pain in your spine, you're probably forcing it a bit much, so just really should only be a 20% effort. Nice and easy, and letting it out. And if you're feeling like you would like a bit of a challenge, you can either try holding it for longer, or you can draw it in and just hover one hand ever so slightly above the floor without losing the position of your back. So sometimes people will either lose their pull in of their belly, or they'll twist their body to compensate for this movement and balance it. So if you're twisting, just stick to the all fours for now. But if you've got the strength, draw in with the belly and just hover the one hand and then slowly letting it down. Remember to stay long in the back of the neck at all times. And then just hovering the other hand and then letting it back down. So there should be virtually no movement in your upper body. Got to watch that neck. It always likes to shorten at the back. Keep it long. Keep the gaze down between your hands. Chin tucked in. And just gently alternating, or just on all fours doing the reps. Beautiful. Alrighty, and then just resting back into the child's pose. Taking a couple of breaths. Just letting all the joints in your spine stretch out and extend. Take a couple of moments. If it hurts your shoulders to rest up and over, you can bring your hands down by your sides. Alright, and then just making your way onto your side. So you're welcome to put a cushion or a towel or something under your head for a bit of support, or just your arm like I have. And then just bending your knees to sort of 90 degrees or thereabouts. And I'll just get you to pull this section of your body up off the floor and then lower it back down again. So it's like you're making a little bridge for some ants to march on under. So once they've all marched under, you can gently close the archway. And then pulling up again gently, and then letting it back down. Pulling up again, and resting back down. And another couple of those. Last one. Lovely. And then just making some small circles, very small, with your tailbone. So if you imagine that if it was a texter or a Sharpie, you just be drawing little circles out the back here, like with a tail. And if the smaller and slower you can do this movement, the better your control is. So if you're really struggling, if there's a lot of shaking in here, it shows that there's a bit of work to be done with stability. But this is how simple it is to actually improve it. So just doing some little circles with the hips, with the tailbone. And then you can reverse those circles to go back the other way and just notice if one direction's a little bit easier than the other. Smooth and steady. Might start getting a bit shaky, but that's okay, we'll just keep going. Make sure you're not forcing any position. Trying to strain or hold your breath, it should just be easy. Easy and flowy. Beautiful. And then just keeping relatively straight through your body and just extending your top knee over top and then pulling it back. Just do a couple of these to get a bit of control in this direction. And then just pulling the hip up and letting it down. Up and down. So you're shortening and lengthening this section here. That feels okay to do that. Beautiful. And if you like, if you want a bit of a stretch for your upper back, this is a great position to come and pull your shoulder down away from your ear and open your arms like a book. So you're stretching out behind, if you've got some space there, opening your chest, then coming forwards again. So just do a couple of those. Beautiful. And then just coming over to the other side. So you'll probably roll over to your other side. Finding that position again, and then just making these little bridges underneath. Pulling up and letting it down. Pulling up, letting it down. See how much control you've got there. You could imagine that someone's got a scarf or something underneath you and they're just pulling it up off the floor. And then just starting with the small circles of the tailbone. Small and smooth movement. You might even like to close your eyes and sense the little muscles all trying to work together to coordinate this movement. This is something you don't even have to be in this position to practice. You can be sitting in the car driving practice this. You can be standing and cutting carrots. You can do it anywhere. The more you practice it, the better the stability will get in your lower back. Then just reversing those circles to the other way, noticing if there's any change, any more or less difficulty on one side compared to the other. Little circles. Beautiful. And then just doing a couple of extensions, making that thigh longer on the top and then pulling it back into the socket. Letting it come past the bottom knee and then just pulling it back into the socket. And one more time. Pulling it right up into the socket on its own. And then just doing the lengthen and shorten of this top side. Expanding and pulling together. So these are all really generally movements that we don't often do in our day unless we're a dancer or doing something particular in this direction, but it's really important to move our spine in all directions, rotation, side bending, and forwards and backwards bending. And then if you'd like to enjoy a couple of those arm openings from before, just bringing your hands together like a book, shoulder away from your ear, reaching up, following with your eyes, stretching over behind, opening your chest, and then coming up forwards again. Breathing in as you come up, stretching out behind. So if you didn't have a couch there, you'd keep your arms straight as you go back. Lovely. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed these little exercises on how to improve stability for your back. So there's a couple there. There's that the hip circles, and there's also the pulling in of that lower abdominal TA muscle that you can actually do absolutely anywhere. And if you incorporate that into your day, you'll find after a few weeks that you feel very different and probably have a lot more control in your lower back. So good luck with it, and I hope to see you soon.